Hey guys, Art 17, and we're in week 9. Or no, sorry, week 10. Last class was week 9. This is week 10, and assignment 18 and 19. So, assignment 18 is ink techniques. I'll show you what that means. And then there's going to be an ink drawing. So, basically, you're going to need a Sharpie type pen. There's other ones that you can get. Certainly not a ballpoint, that's not going to work. It has to be a Sharpie sort of pen that's putting a little dot of ink down. And if you really want to use an inkwell with an ink pen, you can. I'm not requiring that exactly. The pen I have is Pentel brand, and it's hybrid Technica 0.8. So it's kind of a middle of the road sort of mark. It's not real thin and it's not real thick. So, and a felt tip sort of pen is going to be a little too thick. We want something that is about the size of a thick ballpoint, but not the ballpoint, because that's not going to lay down ink like you need it. You need one of these sort of Sharpie pens to stipple and cross-hatch and all that with. Those are the ink techniques. I'll show you some ink techniques here. But basically, the ink techniques are kind of like you see here: stippling, linear hatching, cross-hatching, scribbling. The idea being that when you put very few dots, you're letting the white paper show through, and that is the light area. When you start intensifying the marks, it gets darker and darker and darker gradually until you're back here where the shadow area is on the ball. These are balls, and you want to show the shape of the ball by doing that. It's just like shading with a graphite, that you're showing light and dark areas where the light is hitting, where the light is not hitting. That shows the shape of your object. But you have to make marks with pen. You can't shade like you do with graphite or charcoal. You have to make marks that are intensified and more congested, more saturated marks where you want it to be darker, and then less and less marks where you want it to be lighter. So that's exactly what's happening with stippling, which is a bunch of dots. You're dotting with the pen. It's very intense, it takes a long time, but it looks great. Linear hatching is sort of going one direction with lines that converge on each other in the same direction. They get very intense back here where it's dark and not so much over here where it's light. Scribbling, same thing. It's a scribble mark. Scribble, 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 and then they leave this blank. But it right here is not as dark as here, right? So this is like the mid-tone. And another sort of version of mid-tone right in here, then here, and then it gets very dark back here. Because they're scribbling more and more and more and more over each other to where it ends up getting dark. Same with the cast shadow. I'll show you some other examples here. There's more marks here. These are contour. They're going along with the shape of the ball in a round sort of shape rather than straight across. And this is a good way to show ink marks as well. Again, light area starting in the semi-mid-tone, mid-tone, dark. Same with all of these. Light, mid-tones, dark. All of these. There's stippling again. This is sort of cross-hatching. This is contour lines. I'm not sure what they call this, but it's like little patterns where they're going over this way and that way, this way and then that way and then that way and that way. And they just get more intense back here. And this is more random lines rather than the scribbly sort of lines, that they're still kind of scribbly. The point is to make a light area and a dark area by the amount of marks you put in that area, how congested they are, how close together they are, how many they are, how saturated that area is with marks. Okay, and I'll show you, I thought somewhere there were egg shapes. Let me see if I can find those. Many ideas here with the stippling. Sort of your egg sort of shape. Scribbling, shading, that's with graphite. Stippling, scribbling, cross-hatching, those are ink marks. I don't know where the eggs went. There were some eggs. It looked really cool too. In any case, cross contour lines, cross hatching, random lines, stippling. We're not going to do the ink wash right now. Hatching. So what I want you to do is research these marks, find 4 to 5 of them, or more if you want, and practice them. So make a ball using the marks, or make an egg using the marks. It's up to you. Let me see if I can find those eggs. They were really cool. I don't know where they are now. Let's put eggs on here. See what happens. All right, here they are. So this is what I'm talking about. It's an egg shape. The heck? Okay, anyway. Here's your stippling, your dots. Here's sort of the scribble. These are contour lines. Pick 4 to 5 of these. Let's say 5. And do it. You can do the egg. You can do the ball or another object if you want. It doesn't have to be this object. It can be shells, starfish, anything that has sort of a rounded edge to it. So you don't want a box because that's going to be different. You're not going to be able to show a lot of midtones with that necessarily. I want you to be able to gradually change from light tone to dark tone using your marks. And that's what the practice is, to practice using several different marks, these established ones that I'm talking about, and go ahead and make a shape appear. So you can find various ways to do this. These are the tried and true ones: cross-hatching, hatching, scribble, stippling, okay? Contour lines. So there's your 5 right there. Don't do this one. That's kind of not really working the way I'd like it to. It's not really showing a shape all that much. Here's a good one. There's 6 of them. So that's what you do on one paper, is make a ball or an egg, something round-ish. It could be another shape. It could be penguins. Penguins are kind of round or as their head and their body goes. And you just shade it so you're showing the shape of it through your light source. The light areas, mid-tone areas, and dark areas using these marks. That's the whole thing. I'll show you a video on it too. Check out the video. And then if you haven't gotten me work in a long time, start sending that work real quick because you're getting far behind. All right. We'll talk with you in the middle of the week.